today's project diary, I will show you how to grow aubergines, aka eggplants, from seed in containers.
Hi guys and welcome to Project Diaries. Today is a fairly special one. Since releasing my 50,000 subscriber video, over 1,000 people subscribed in that one day, and a majority of those people were from India. So namaste to all of my new Indian subscribers. Today I'm going to do a really lovely video, and it's how to grow aubergines. Now these are called brinjal in certain parts of Asia and Africa. They're called aubergines in England and Europe, and eggplant in America, Australia and New Zealand. Now they were called eggplants because they used to produce a really small egg-shaped fruit, but since then there's been loads of different varieties and we can get ones like this now. Now you can't actually grow these from shop brought aubergines like I usually do. If you are growing these, you're going to need to leave it on the vine a lot until the skin starts splitting and it swells up, becomes really old and inedible. Then you can harvest the seeds. So I will show you how to do that in a minute. If you don't have that luxury and you want to buy some seeds, as usual I'll put some Amazon links in the description box below so you can get those online and give you a breakdown of all the different varieties. But in today's video I'm going to show you how to grow aubergines, and here's how to do it.
So once you've got your extremely overripe aubergine, you just want to cut it into sections. Now there are many ways to do this, so you can just use this as an example. You just want to cut it up into really small manageable pieces. And as you can see inside, aubergines produce an incredible amount of seeds that you can harvest. Now the reason why you can't do this from a shop brought aubergine is because the seeds just won't be mature enough. Once you've cut it into more manageable pieces, you can just rip the flesh and harvest the seeds accordingly. And yes, loads of people comment about my nails. No, that isn't dirt underneath them. And yes, I did hit it with a hammer. And as I said, there's many ways you can harvest these seeds. So if you can think of any better ideas, please leave a comment in the message box below. Once you've got all your seeds, you just need to leave them on a piece of kitchen roll or tissue and let them dry out for an hour or two. Now if you dry these seeds out and store them well, they can last up to 4 years. So I'm just going to let these dry out in the sun and come back to them in a minute. So here's a close-up of the seeds. As you can see, they're quite average looking and very similar to tomato seeds. So here's my regular propagating tray, and I'm using multi-purpose compost. If you're using the cheaper stuff, you want to make sure there's no big chunks in it, so just throw those out. Then just use your finger to poke in a hole around 3 times the depth of the seed. Now aubergines need a lot of heat throughout their entire growing process, so you do need to start these indoors. Once they're mature, they'll also need around 2 months of evening temperatures over 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 21 degrees Celsius. Obviously, it's very rare to get these kind of temperatures in the UK, so you may need to grow these in a greenhouse or shed like I am. Aubergines also need a really long growing period, so you want to sow these as soon as you can and you start getting some really lovely sunlight. Once you've packed the soil down gently, you just need to water them in. Now as usual, I'm using rainwater, which I collect in really big water barrels. But if you're watching this in America, I know it's illegal in certain states, which is absolutely crazy, but it's still fine if you use tap water. Then just label them up and leave this in a really warm, sunny place. Now as long as your seeds are kept in a really warm place between 60 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit, or 15 and 35 degrees Celsius, you should start seeing them emerge between 7 and 10 days. You can see with the right amount of heat they grow really fast, and here they are after 2 weeks.
So despite these growing really quickly and having enough sunlight to germinate fast, it's still actually really cold. As you can tell, I'm still wearing a hoodie in the middle of spring. So what I'm going to do is just transplant these up into a bigger pot because they're not ready to go outside yet, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hopefully we can get some more warmer weather in the next week or so.
So as usual, I'm going to put this in an old yogurt pot which already has drainage holes. As you can see, I'm also growing cucumbers in the same container, so if you'd like to know how to grow these, check out the link on the screen now. So I'm just going to place a little bit of soil in the bottom of this pot to start with, and as usual I'm still using multi-purpose compost. Using a teaspoon, I'm just going to prise the seedling out gently and place it into the pot. Then just backfill with soil and try not to damage the stem or any of the root system. Then just press the soil down gently. You want to give it enough support so the plant can stand up, but not too much so the roots won't spread out. Doing it this way and on a sunny day should really ensure that your plant doesn't have any transplant shock. So once you've packed the soil down just right in order to make the plant stand up straight, you just want to water it in. Now if you're thinking about growing these outside, you really want to make sure that your soil is at optimum temperature at over 65 degrees Fahrenheit, because these are a tropical plant and they will experience transplant shock easily. Then just check the soil is draining nicely and leave these in a really sunny and warm place. Here they are again just over a month, and as you can see we're still getting some lovely sunshine, but it's still too cold. Here they are again after 6 weeks, and as you can see they're growing nicely, but this cold weather is really slowing down their process. Over 2 months in, they're starting to love this sunshine, and as you can see the leaves are huge and the stem is really thickening out. Now usually on average, aubergine will start producing fruit between 70 and 95 days, but because this is England, the weather's completely intermittent, we usually get a lot of cold spells, so this will slow down the process. A good sign is if they start producing flowers around mid-May.
So now it's at this stage, it needs to be planted outside, but I have kept it indoors quite a long time. This is well overdue due to the weather. But as you can see, it's really beautiful, and look at this flower, it's absolutely stunning.
Now you can keep aubergines in the greenhouse because they self-pollinate and really don't need bees or pollinators to help produce fruit.
So I'm just going to show you how to pot this on, and here's how to do it.
Now aubergines are really heavy feeders, so at this stage you want a really good growing medium, so I'm using my homemade compost, which I've just run through a sieve in order not to get any big chunks in there. If you're interested in starting your own compost heap, it's really easy, so check out this video on do's and don'ts on how to begin a compost heap. As you can see here, there's still a lot of materials that need to be broken down, but you can leave these eggshells in there. It's a really good source of calcium. Once you finish sifting out the big chunks, you can put these straight back into your compost heap, so don't waste them. Also, one of the best ways to find out if your compost is working well is just how many earthworms are moving in. There is plenty in this batch, so I know it's really full of nutrition. So I've picked the worms out and put them back in the compost heap and mixed it up a little bit, and the next thing is you'll need a pot. Now you want a fairly large and deep pot that's around 12 to 15 inches wide and depth. You also want some really good drainage holes. I'm just using the same bucket as I grew my carrots in, and if you'd like to know how to grow these, check out the link on the screen now. Also, if you'd like to know how to make this handy soil scoop and 5 other free garden tools using old plastic milk bottles, check out the link on the screen now. So once you've filled your pot 3/4 of the way full, you want to put your plant in. Now the easiest way to do this is just put the stem between your fingers, give the base a tap and a slight squeeze, and it should come out easy. Now I have left this plant in a little bit too long due to bad weather, but as you can see the root system's really strong and it hasn't become root bound yet. You just want to gently prise some of the roots out from the bottom, and this will help it grow into the new soil. Then just dig a hole roughly the same width and depth as the original pot size. You want to try not to bury the plant any deeper than the original soil line. Making sure it's in the centre and sturdy, you want to backfill gently. And once again you want to push the soil in around the plant in order for it to be sturdy enough to stand up, but not too hard so the roots won't be able to grow out. As you can see, the soil is packed down quite a bit, so I'm just going to put in a few more scoops in order for it to build up another inch or two. This has happened because the soil is lovely and fluffy after sifting out all the bigger chunks. Just another 2 scoops should be enough, and you want to leave around a 2-inch gap around the top because this will help with watering. If you fill the soil up to the top at this point, you may end up burying the stem too much and rotting it, and leaving a few inches gap at the top will help the water congregate when watering. If you filled it straight to the top, it could overflow and this will be bad. One last thing you need to do is give it some support. Now I'm using a 6-foot bamboo cane, but you can use a trellis or a tomato case to help it out, and I'm just going to tie it on. I'm just going to have another branch here and there, and I'm going to loosely tie it with string. Now if you're growing these outside, your plant will move around in the wind, so you don't want to use a string that is too coarse, as this could end up sawing away at the stem. Now as usual, I'm just using what I have to hand at Grandad's, but you can use some professional cable ties which I'll leave in the description box below. You can also get some really handy plant clips which are great if you're using lots of trellises or vertical gardening. I'll also leave those links in the description box below too. So I'm just going to tie 2 or 3 really loose knots here, and I may actually do a few more once this plant grows a little bit taller. Now this may need some fertiliser at least once a week, even though the homemade compost is in there to really give it a boost. If you don't have it, you want to give it some really nice rich fertiliser. I'll send some links up here for homemade recipes, but that's about it. When you're watering, especially if you're in a hot country, if the soil's dry on top, it still might be wet underneath, so get your finger and just poke it down as far as you can and see if it's still wet. But when you're watering, give it a really good soak and make sure there's water coming out the bottom, and you might be able to do it sort of every other day, but just keep the moisture levels right and we'll see how it goes.
There you go, all done. And as you can see, it's a really beautiful plant. Now I'm going to put this outside today, but we are scheduled some more bad weather, so I will bring it in when it rains and when it's windy. This will start growing a lot thicker stems and become a lot more supported by its own strength. But you may need a trellis or a tomato cage so this can grow up, because it will be quite huge once it starts producing fruit. But as of today, I'm just going to end this video here. I will do some updates on how well this goes. Fingers crossed we do get some more good weather, because we are well overdue some sunshine and actual summer this time. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you again next time. If you'd like to keep up to date on all of my future releases, click the subscribe button here. Here are some links to some of my other videos. And if you tried this or any other project, I'd love to see your progress, so please join my Facebook gardening group where thousands of people are sharing photos and ideas daily. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.